Okay. Honorable Matthews, once you are done, we break. Thank you.
I might not be done then, Chair. I don't think we deserve a break. Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to the members of Parliament and to the General. General, yesterday you gave testimony that as the Deputy National Commissioner who was responsible for crime detection in the country, there's a lot of things you said you don't know. You didn't know about the arrest of, my thing is doing things. You said you didn't know about the arrest of General Khumalo.
I didn't know about?
About the arrest of General Khumalo.
Yes, I didn't. Right?
You said you didn't know about the request by General Khumalo to the Provincial Commissioner regarding seconding the PKTT members to Gauteng.
I didn't.
You also didn't know about the press conference that the KZN Commissioner was going to do. You didn't know about Kat Makala. The guy has 80 cases dating back to 2007, and he has a huge tender with SAPS. You didn't know about the Big Five. It's confusing, General. Do you consider yourself competent in your job?
Yes, I consider myself competent. If I was part of the tender process that was assessing Mr. Matlala's tender, I would suggest that it would be fair to say to me, why didn't you know? But I didn't form part of that process. I didn't even know that he's an applicant or is participating in such. Now, the arrest of General Khumalo. General Khumalo was arrested by IDEC. It's not the South African Police Service. So I wouldn't know. And all the things the honorable member is mentioning are not things within my sphere where someone can say, but why don't you know? I didn't know.
Okay, General, make this make sense, right? You do not know that one of your generals is going to be arrested. And I know it wasn't by SAPS, right? It's a sister department. It's your job. It's your responsibility to know. Crime detection is huge. It includes crime intelligence as well. So you should have sources everywhere. I find it extremely hard to believe, or for this to even make sense, that you had no idea, formally or informally, that your general was about to get arrested. Even the commissioner of KZN knew that he was going to be arrested. So you're saying that you don't have access to information and sources like the rest of SAPS members.
The very first person who was supposed to know that he was going to be arrested is the member himself, because he's intelligence, he's counterintelligence. This is the person that anybody can say he expects to know about everything that moves. But above all, even the National Commissioner didn't know that that was going to happen. So where I'm sitting, if IDEC or IPIT, the IDEC or IPIT, they are investigating a particular matter. There's no way us will know from where we are sitting, because we are not in that space.
Okay, so South Africans should feel comfortable that our national head of crime intelligence cannot know that one of their generals is going to be arrested by another organization. We should be comfortable with that, and we should be comfortable that we have a competent Deputy Commissioner responsible for crime detection.
If I was fully in charge of crime intelligence, including counterintelligence, they were reporting to me, I would be knowing. But they don't report to me.
Okay, let's go on to a bit of your career. So yesterday you said that there's no crime intelligence, and however we interpret it is not really the point. But in your statement, paragraph 23, you say that you have been responsible for crime intelligence since 20 years and 3 months. And it's been recently moved under the National Commissioner but I don't think it's been effected yet. So what is your response that the failure of crime intelligence is actually a reflection of your role, which you partly spoke to, but I need you to speak to this more clearly and not go around and around the bush, please, General, that it is a reflection of your role as the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection?
Chair, I was looking for the page. The honourable member said page
23, paragraph 23. I'm not sure which page.
Page?
The page 49. When you talk about your career, that section, it's page 9, paragraph 23. But I'm right, that is paragraph 23. Yes. Thank you for the page number, ANC Chief Whip.
Yes, I'm there, honourable member. What is the question?
Yeah, so you say there that you're responsible for crime intelligence. Now you're saying you're only partly and you're not fully. I do understand the issue of counterintelligence, but it's pretty much been in your office, or you've been responsible for it for over 2 years.
I've been responsible for it for only 2 years, but it was then also taken away to report to the National Commissioner. But even then, when it was reporting to me, it had two dual reporting lines. In my case, they came to report to me that what they wanted me to know, and that what they didn't want me to know was going to be reported to the National Commissioner. It's not like I never complained about such. I complained many times about that, and that the lines of the reporting lines have been blurred, and this is creating problem for myself. And I challenged it many a times, but the bottom line is that everybody knows he was not reporting to me entirely.
So would we agree that the issue here is SAP's officials?
Yes, ma'am.
You and the National Commissioner and also the Head of Crime Intelligence. And the issue of having blurred lines is an issue because you, as the senior officials that the country relies on to make sure our children are not raped, and if they are, they're getting justice, to make sure our children are not trafficked. A simple process of just understanding, reporting, or having those basic processes in place is what is costing the country, and our children are in the state that they're in now. Right now, children are being raped and they've been trafficked. And we have adults that have been appointed in these strategic positions and that are busy with their egos and are busy fighting with each other and are unable to do the jobs that we've put them in there to do. Can we concede on that?
It's a long question, and I'm trying to understand the essence of the question. Can it be repeated in short, Councillor?
Okay, I guess it is a bit of
Honourable Chair, Honourable Member.
I guess it is a bit of a political statement, but what I'm saying ultimately that we are in this mess is because they are the National Commissioner, yourself as Head of Crime Detection, and then the Head of Crime Intelligence cannot sit down and have a clear process to ensure that there are systems in place to make sure that we are detecting crime and that our children are getting justice when they've been raped and trafficked in the country.
I think we are in this mess because of the press briefing, unfortunate press briefing that was done. That was not supposed to happen. That's why how we find ourselves in this mess, because everyone has been doing their best to try to do what they can under the circumstances.
And if that is the best, I don't know what's going to be good. Let's move on to your suspension and your dismissal related to the Zimbabwe matter. And this lasted about 7 years, according to your statement. You said that the prosecutor put it on record that he or she was instructed to put your case on the roll. Who gave that? Did you ask who gave the prosecutor that instruction? And if you didn't, why not?
I thought the magistrate, because it was into the court record and that record is still there, still exists. I thought the magistrate would ask who gave that instruction, and the magistrate just didn't take it further.
Okay, but my question is, did you ask the prosecutor?
No, I didn't, because I was represented.
And you didn't ask your attorneys either to ask the prosecutor?
No, to me, I was excited. It's
and who was the prosecutor? Do you know? Do you remember?
No. At this point in time, I forgot the name.
Okay, would your legal team be able to access that information and give it to the committee? Because I think that is important, that we don't speak and we don't have names and people that we are able to follow up. Why is crime intelligence not efficiently capacitated to vet SAPS officials?
It has been always the case. It's a challenge. I don't know why, but there are so many members that needs to be vetted that have not been vetted, and it could be because of the manpower or the budget.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. But
why is it not done? General, it can't be that, and we've been hearing this. I've just joined the police portfolio committee, and we've been hearing this issue of vetting since I've landed. And when I look back at previous annual reports, etc., it's the same thing. We don't know why is it not being capacitated, and this falls under your division as well. It can't be that we have 7 members that are required to vet over 1,000 SAPS officials, and we expect this country and we expect SAPS to function when the very core, its foundation, is not working. Is it intentional? Is it intentional that just vetting, if you fail at just vetting, it's a problem? So make us understand, make the nation understand, how is it that you are even failing to vet 1,000 officials every 5 years?
I think crime intelligence is working very hard to recruit members. There is a process in place. They are recruiting. I may not have the statistics and the information where I'm sitting, but there is a drive to capacitate crime intelligence. This is what also the minister said, that they need to capacitate crime intelligence in such a way that they will improve even their collection and counterintelligence.
But why has it not been done? Do you not see? General, I need you to explain to us, because it can't be that the highest office of our security, like South African Police Service, cannot have capacity to vet 1,000 officials. You're telling us what is going to happen, and we've heard that many times. It's not happening, and we're having people. You are placing people in positions who do not have security clearance, and it is costing us being able to do our work efficiently in those departments. Why is it not done? Is it intentional because you want to appoint people who we know are not going to get clearance, or we're weaponizing it for people who would get clearance, but we don't want them to access information? Is this what officials in SAPS are doing instead of protecting us as citizens in the country?
No, Chair, that is not the case. The employment or recruitment drive, there is a plan. Since, I think, in the past 2 years, there's been a drive in terms of capacitating the detectives and intelligence. I think the person who can actually better respond to that question can be the support head, the acting National Commissioner of Support, acting Deputy National Commissioner of Support, who can come and testify here in terms of the recruitment of crime intelligence officials and the numbers, because that's a separate process.
No, we have the numbers. It was just, we're just trying to understand how is it that the highest level of SAPS cannot vet That was pretty much the question. And is it intentional or not? You haven't really answered the question. I don't think we're going to get an answer, but we'll move on. Let's talk about your employment at the city of Joburg. You testified yesterday that you were employed properly at the COJ, and your words were during daylight with everybody watching. Where did you see the ad, the advertisement for the job?
I think it was in the newspaper, Chair. I can't remember now, but...
Okay, would you be able to get that? Because I'm sure the COJ would have...
Yeah, I think they would have.
And what was the title of the position that was advertised?
It was unit head, forensic and investigation.
It was a new unit that was established?
Yes.
Was it already existing and they were looking for a position? It was new. So you'll get, your legal team will submit, or maybe our evidence leaders can also get that. Who was on the interview panel for the position? Who interviewed you?
If I remember, I know Michael Beaumont. I also know Christo Mare. I've been long out of the city, and some of the people...
So, but there was an interview panel?
I think there was Trevor Fowler. Yeah, there was an interview panel.
Okay. So we can also access that information, evidence leaders. I'm sure the COJ would still have that. Did you sign an offer of employment letter?
Yes.
You did. And we'll also need to get a copy of that. The letter, did it state what your salary was going to be? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. The appointment was approved by council?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the minutes of that council meeting?
They can be requested by this house to the council.
Yes, can we please have that? So were you in the council meeting when that happened? Or you just were told because you need to be...
You don't form part of the council meeting, it happens.
But you watched it live, or you were...
No, you sit and wait and you will hear when it happens.
Okay. Are you stating here that you were not part of the procurement of this spy equipment in any way, shape or form? You didn't have any conversation about it. You didn't even know what it does. The department just went ahead and bought this equipment and brought it to your department.
There are no spying equipment procured.
What was procured?
It was technology meant to support the department to be able to do the work. And I don't have the list with me, but the list is there. Was
the department authorized to purchase whatever that equipment is?
Yes, because it went through the channels and it went through the budget steering committee and it was approved.
So you were part of the process, the procurement process. Obviously, it's done in a different department in the COJ, but it came through the unit that you were heading up, the request.
That's correct.
Okay, so how did you source, was Paul O'Sullivan at all involved, or any of his associates involved in you identifying this equipment and where to source it, etc.?
Paul O'Sullivan was nowhere involved, nowhere near what was happening, doesn't even know, it's not even connected to this whole thing.
To which whole thing?
Of this equipment that were procured.
Okay. And how did you think that what made you determine, or what analysis was done to determine that you needed this equipment? Because we got testimony that I think it was the general who said, the KZN commissioner who said, and I know you're going to say that not everything he says is true, so that's why I'm asking you that that equipment that was bought in the COJ, whether it's spy equipment or whatever, surveillance, whatever it's called, the city does not have authority to procure it. What do you say to that?
He doesn't know what he's talking about, that one.
And then the letter that was sent to the Minister of Police, Becky Cele, by the Executive Director of the City of Joburg about you. Did the Minister speak to you about the matter?
No.
Not at all? Did you know that a letter was sent to the minister?
I think I got to hear about it. And to me, it was not really a worry because I do have investigations on the same individuals that were running. So it's a political space. And when a person writes a letter, it does not necessarily mean that he's right. He had no right to even write that letter. He had no right even now to write a letter, whether to this committee, whether it's to Madlanga or wherever. It's just people who, some of these people will follow you to the grave. Even when you left them many years ago, but you find people who just rise up and follow you. Even when you're not focusing on them, they just chase after you. So it does not necessarily mean that that letter that he wrote carries any significant role because he himself was being investigated.
But you're deflecting now. We're talking about the contents of the letter. We're not talking about what his situation is and investigating. So if you bring it in politics, it means that you were also descended into a political space. Why would they want to deal with you politically?
Because, as I say, the city of Joburg is a political space. And then if these are the people that don't want to be investigated themselves and they start attacking you as the person who's in charge of the investigation, it's unfortunate. And I think, Honorable Member, I wish that I could also be protected from your side as well, because it shouldn't be like I'm already guilty and what they wrote about me is right.
But we're asking you, General, we're not saying that it is.
Yeah, the only problem is that these people who are sitting in their corner because they don't want to be investigated, they don't want to be vetted. And they
but Leto, do you see what you're doing? You're not saying it's not true because of X, Y, and Z. You are telling us about their situation. You're saying, were you investigating them, yes or no? What they are saying is true, yes or no? I think those are the questions rather than deflecting and putting it on them. We're dealing on what they said about you. Are you saying it's not true, it was dealt with? Let's deal with that.
It's
the contents of the letter. Saying that they don't have permission or they're not qualified to write the letters, neither here or there. We're talking about whether it was, number one, done, whether you knew about it, and what your position is. So who the public protector made a recommendation, who lodged the complaint, number one, to the public protector? Then speak to me who opened the case based on the public protector's recommendations, and what was the reason that the prosecutor declined to prosecute the case?
What I know, Chair, is that I investigated a matter that involved the then city manager of City of Joburg. The matter was reported by the Department of Finance, and it related to a big tender of the blue light and the sirens and bullet vest. I don't have the report with me. But then what happened is that the investigation was allocated to ENS law firm that had to conduct that investigation. That investigation was conducted, and the results came. These results were talking about the fact that over and above the many other role players that were there within the city at JMPD, it talks about the fact that the city manager also did not cooperate with the investigation. And they were very much worried that the city manager is not behaving in a manner the accounting officer should be behaving. So they produced a report. That report that was produced, and it's a report that I, as the head of group forensics, also had to sign and submit. He was very angry to an extent that he wrote a letter wherein he wrote this letter that says, if I can read, that says a directive in terms of Section 55, subsection 1 of the MSA of 200 in respect of notice to withdraw the delegation of the head of GFIS and public communication of matters that have not been tabled before the council. The above matter refers the city manager's office is disturbed by the contents of the letter issued by yourself, where you suggest that by withdrawing from you the powers which in terms of legislation are assigned to the head of administration and accounting officer that prevented your department from performing its function. We also noted nefarious statements which you are peddled in the media that our notice of withdrawal of your delegation communicated signal to suspend you when in actual fact we are trying to protect the interest of the city. So I don't know, I can read this letter on and on, but what I wanted to say is that I went to court and the court ruled in my favor, and the powers of group forensics were given back to group forensics. In other words, the city manager working with Mesuli Mlando, when they attempted to take back the powers of this from group forensics, they said group forensics does not have the power to investigate them, and they took away their powers, and I went to court and the court ruled in my favor.
Your relationship with any of the DA or Democratic Alliance members in the CLJ, they were leading government there. Did you have any, and at any time did you engage any of the leaders there who may have given you directives on investigating members?
I didn't have any relationship with anybody in the DA.
None of them? You've never had meetings, engaged any of their leaders?
No.
The mayor, any of the MMCs?
In my official capacity, I have had meetings with all of them.
Oh, you have?
In my capacity, yes.
That's what I'm saying, in your capacity, and where you could have been given directives on how to proceed with the city manager. You know, that's a very strategic position. So when new leadership come in, that's the first position that they want to take over. So I was just trying to establish if you might have gotten some political interference on pursuing that case. I'm not saying, or I'm not commenting on the city manager, whether he did right or did wrong. I'm just asking if there was any interference or push for you to deal with the city manager from the political party that was running the municipality.
So I never had any political interference at all.
Let's go to your labor court. You appealed the matter, so it wasn't the labor court that ordered you to be reinstatement, it was the appeal court that did that. Do you know why SAPS did not oppose your reinstatement?
Because there was nothing to oppose.
Is that sort of a practice there in SAPS that they would just not even show up or not withdraw the case, whether there was a case or whether there wasn't? In your experience, because you've been in the police
force. In my experience, normally, and which I find to be wrong, because there is law in this country, I take it that all of us, there's equality before the law, and those that are employed, those that are seniors in the workplace must really also adhere to the law. Let's say, for an example, we've got generals, lieutenant generals who are out today, who've been suspended, others fired, and they went to court and they won the cases. But they're not being allowed to come back simply because the current management feels that, no, we don't want them back. Now, even when the court says they must come back, and the management will say, no, but we don't want them. They go to court, they win, and then another one will say, but we are reviewing. I don't think it's a fair process. It's abuse of power in this situation, because we all have careers, we all have children, we have families. But if you are today in a powerful position and you do what you do to fellow human beings who's got children and families as well, I think it's not a fair process, and and even this house must assist to get this thing right.
Okay, you didn't really answer the question on why do you think SAPS. I guess you did answer it in a way when you said that there was no case, and my question was it common practice for SAPS just not to show up to make representation, and you are telling us about members that have been. But I think we can park it. I can accept response.
Can I respond to that? It's not because of it's a common practice.
Okay, then it's fine. You're saying it's not common. Do you want to explain why you're saying it's not a common practice?
Chair, in my case, do know that as a result of my arrest on Richard Mdluli, and then we were all removed. I was removed on a matter I was not involved in. I never participated in the illegal rendition of the Zimbabweans. I was not there. And that is why even when I went to court, the court ruled in my favor. And they refused to accept back. I went, all the courts ruled in my favor. And when I went to the labor court, because the whole idea, even now what is happening is that they say, no, fire him, fire him. You will fight from outside. You will fight from outside, but with the time you come back, you are over age already. This is how we're hurting each other. But the problem is the labor court ruled in my favor, but did not reinstate me. They said I must be paid. I said, no, I don't think I can spend so much money just to come and win and not be reinstated. And then I went to the Labour Appeal Court. The Labour Appeal Court reinstated me. So I came back because I was reinstated. I was innocent.
Okay, that still wasn't the question I was asking, but understood. Let's talk about yesterday. You said in your in your statement yesterday, or your evidence, you said that Mr. Brown received the news about the disbandment of PK, because we were talking about those WhatsApp messages between him and Kat Maklala through media reports. Do you have evidence of when the media first reported about the disbandment? Because it appears that the first reporting was by a SABC journalist on the 2nd of January, and their messages was on the 31st of December, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was on the 31st of December, after it was released, somewhere there. I'm not sure when exactly.
Okay, but if you are going to give evidence that you felt very confident that they got that information via media reports and not through any internal processes between the minister's office and between SAPS, so you're going to have to give us where that could have been found on social media or where that report is, because when we checked, the first thing we saw was on the 2nd of January, and it was a screenshot of the disbandment letter. So you don't have to do it right now. You can ask your attorneys to be able to support that, because that was the evidence that you gave yesterday. You also said that Brown Mokosi, was like an informer to you. So if this was the case, are you at liberty to disclose what sort of information he would supply to you, Brown Mokosi?
I did say that he informed me more of information around the fact that he knows that there are people who are planning to really push me out of the police. This is what I said.
But he also, General Kwanazi also said that he said the same thing to him. Yes. So you didn't, so at your level, General, someone just comes and they says that, and you just believe it. And you don't see that he could also just be pushing information, as you were just saying earlier about how people peddle information and plot people against each other.
I do listen, and as to what I do with it, it's for me now to see how I deal with the information.
Okay, but so you used him for your personal survival in SAPS, because he seemed to have information both through government, or I guess the executive, and...
I didn't use him. Yes, and when he called, I listened.
Okay. Let's talk about, you said you were doing operations in Cape Town, and this was around the same time as the ANC's January 8th, 2025 celebrations. Was it something that was planned or pre-planned? That you arranged your operations, or you arranged your operations in Cape Town around the period of the ANC's January 8th?
January 8th is a yearly event of the African National Congress. But as the South African Police Service, we have to be there to do our work.
Okay, so who attends? Because as the economic freedom fighters, we also have ours, and we don't have ministers, officials on that level of SAPS coming to attend any. I've never ever seen them. I'm just asking. And I think even the IFP here, so are you saying that it's a standard operation procedure that high-level officials in SAPS makes their operations, arrange operations in the hosting towns where the ANC is having their January 8th?
In all the political parties who have events,
you definitely don't have high level like on your level at ours. I can tell you for a fact. No, I know. I'm part of job.
No, they are.
Okay.
They are.
Maybe you must supply us with the list of who's deployed to these events.
No, when it happens, there's a clear plan from the police side on what will be happening, and they demarcate the streets on how.
I understand the job processes. I'm asking about levels. I'm asking specifically you as a general heading up a division, right? A deputy commissioner that will make themselves available to do operations in towns hosted by the ANC in particular. I understand the whole process of JOC and the police being involved. I'm not disputing that, General. I'm saying on that level.
Yes, on this level.
I'd like to know which ones have ever attended our events. Let's talk about when you were in Cape Town for the January 8th, 2025 celebrations. Did you meet the Minister of Police, chat to him informally, anything, especially since he had just written a letter disbanding the political killings task team?
On January 8th?
Around that time, not on that day in particular, but you were here celebrating, okay, let me not say you were celebrating, you were doing operations for the ANC's January 8th. The minister was here because there's evidence that even someone sponsored his trip. So did you have any communication with the minister?
The minister was not around, he didn't attend.
How do you know?
I know.
No, okay. At least there's something you're saying that you know, General. Let's move on to, so you didn't meet the minister, is that what you're saying? You didn't have any conversations with the Minister of Police during the January 8th?
He was not there.
That's not the question. Did you have around that time, even if you didn't see him physically, during that period?
I've never spoken to the minister.
Okay. Let's talk about Busi Kat Mkhala. He called you, you said, and he wanted to have a meeting with you. And then you agreed to the meeting. So at your level, did you not even say, hey, let me just check this guy out before I just meet with him? Like, obviously you knew as a service provider, you're saying that you didn't get involved in the procurement process and that sort of thing. This guy has 80 active cases with SAPS. You are the head of crimes detection. You just went ahead and met with him without even just doing some background checks.
I don't think it's fair, Chair, that when a person complains and comes with a lawyer and having the papers and say, I'm here to complain to the National Commissioner. This is my complaint. Then I must go out there and start running tests on the person and start running investigation on the person.
But
it's not how it works.
He called you first. He didn't just show up at your office. That's what you said. So the call that you arranged a meeting, right? So when he called and he asked to have a meeting with you, he stated why he wanted to meet with you.
Yes.
Right. So you knew he was coming there for that. He didn't show up with lawyers. So you had time to just say, let me go and do some due diligence, because you could have even called him back and said, this is out of my it's out of my payroll or it's not in my grade. Let's wait until the National Commissioner comes back. But you made a decision to meet with him and not even check 80 cases, and you just met with him like that. Yeah. That's what the National Commissioner told us. 80 since 2007.
Oh, it's 1-8 now.
80. Am I wrong? It is 80. I asked the National Commissioner twice last week. And I even asked when he said it's dating back since 2007.
General Mkhwanazi said 1-8.
The National... Okay, I guess we can just verify our evidence leaders. Can we just double check? But when I did a follow-up, I remember saying whether it was 80 or 18. But regardless, 80 or 18, it's still a lot. So it wasn't strange for you just to do that, General?
No, because remember, Honorable Chair, when a member comes, when a person comes wanting to see you.
He called you, he didn't come and see you, didn't show up.
Yeah, I don't think each and every person who comes who want to see me, I have to run tests on that person.
But it's not a deep test, just some due diligence. You hold a very strategic position in this country. You've said yourself that people come and they influence you and they peddle wrong information. I would just think that you'd be a little bit more cautious. But if you didn't do it, that's fine. Do you want to say something before I move on?
No, I just wanted to say that it's not always easy and possible to say I want to run tests. When a person wants to check on you, it's not like in the presidency. In the presidency, if I want to meet the president will have a team that will actually check the background of the person. Who is this person? What is he about, and why does he want to see you will have few people before you get there. Now, in my case, I'm expected to meet anybody who wants to meet me or who wants to meet the National Commission.
You indicated that you also made calls to him. Was this after the initial meeting or the meeting you had with him about his...
Mr. Matala? No, I never made calls to him.
At all?
No, I never made calls to him.
And did you and the minister discuss Makhala and Brown?
Not even once.
Any way, shape or form?
Not even once.
Not going to find any WhatsApp messages informally?
You will never find
looking from the chief of staff?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the disbandment of PKT. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat what other honourable members have asked. Was the minister briefed about the PKTT before sending the letter officially?
Yes.
He was, because the National Commissioner's evidence says he was not briefed.
I read something here in a meeting on the 27th that I know that there was an executive meeting and there was a briefing in relation to the PKTT, and the National Commissioner in that meeting did indicate that it was not meant to be a permanent structure. It was not meant to be a permanent structure. It was meant to evolve into a murder and robbery unit.
Okay, so I'm not asking that. I'm just asking the minister. So you're saying that the National Commissioner gave wrong evidence before this commission, and maybe our evidence leaders can just check in his statement, because he said the minister did not receive a briefing from anyone officially in SAPS about the PKTT. That's why he was shocked that the decision was made. So you are saying that the minister had received it. Were you part of the meeting?
Yes.
You were.
Yes.
And you were satisfied, or you are satisfied that the minister was properly informed, not about whether it wasn't supposed to be a permanent arrangement, whether he was briefed properly about the PKTT to make an informed decision.
If an honourable member is talking about not about that letter, then I can't say I know.
No, not the letter. I'm saying before this letter arrived, was sent on the 31st. I'm saying, was there a briefing?
The fact that there was such a discussion in college, it means it was a briefing.
I beg your pardon, say that again?
The fact that there was such a meeting that was discussed with the police executive meetings, where the minister raised concerns about the PKTT.
Okay, that's a different question, different answer. I'm saying was, did the minister receive a briefing, as we get briefings of this is what the PKTT has done over the years, etc., etc. Did he get that, or was there just an overall discussion? That's what I'm asking.
I wouldn't know about that one.
Okay, right. Did you have any discussions with the minister, with Brown, or with Kat about formally about the disbandment of PKTT before it happened?
It never happened.
So you didn't. Okay. Okay. So this is something that is baffling, General. On the 31st of December, in the afternoon, the minister decides he must send an email about issues that are not of national importance during the festive season. Were you not shocked when you saw this? Like, I would be like, what is he doing? So when you saw this letter on the day that you saw it, did you not think, okay, this thing is on the 31st? And he even knows that the National Commissioner is not there. Did those things not cross your mind, that this just seems just highly irregular? Or is it something that's common? You've been in the police force for a long time. For the minister on New Year's Eve, the whole world is resting. He decides he wants to send a letter of something that he could have dealt with in January when offices were fully open.
I wasn't shocked, and there's nothing shocking about it.
Why?
Because the ministers, the police, they are working during that period.
There's working, right, that's dealing with the issue of festive activities. We're talking about matters of border control. One was about doing a strategy for border control. They can wait until January. How is that even urgent? Even the thing about the disbandment. Okay, give me just one example, General, of any other time in your history of being in the South African Police Service where a minister sent a letter on the 31st of January in the afternoon about something that was not of critical national importance during that period. Just one.
What we know is that when the festive period, safer festive period is declared, policemen are no longer allowed to take leave until when it comes to an end somewhere in January. So during that period, the police are hard at work. And as the police are hard at work, they are not on leave. Now, me and you will differ in this sense. The minister is a new minister. And then him being...
He was excited.
No. Don't use the word councillor that he was excited.
Let's do like this.
Okay, sorry, Chair.
I don't like it when you exchange between yourselves. Because it's either you intimidate each other or you inject fear in each other. Honorable Matthijs, I want to allow you to ask the last two questions, because your time has been up.
I should have kept my own time because I don't know, Chair, but no problem. I trust you, Chair. So, General, you're not really answering the question. The issue is not whether SAPS or the police is working during that period. We know that it's a very busy time. We're just talking about particular operational matters. I would like you to speak to the issue of... Oh, hey, now I must choose. Let's talk about... You've said that you don't know this Paul O'Sullivan at all. Do you know...
Sorry, Chair. I've never said I don't know Paul O'Sullivan.
Like you've never met him, you have never engaged with him?
I've never said that.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you then.
I said I know Paul O'Sullivan very well.
Oh. Oh, yes, you did. Sorry, I'm looking at something else. And you also said that he's a well-known person in the crime-fighting community. What is the nature of Paul O'Sullivan's involvement in crime fighting in the country?
He runs a forensic investigative company, and he normally gets information and he reports to the police as well.
Do you know how he gets to be in possession of this information? And does it not bother you that a person who's operating outside the established security institutions is able to access the information that Paul O'Sullivan has? And then also just quickly maybe talk to the issue of the Helen Suzman Foundation. My last question, Chair. Or must I come back? Or do you want to respond to the first question?
Respond now.
Okay.
How we access which information? People report to Paul O'Sullivan. People report to Patricia Machar. People report to Josh Machar. People report to Brown Mohozi. People report to the person they feel comfortable with. And these people people report to Professor Mary DeHaas. And as they report, they then take information forward. You will have people who report to whoever they feel comfortable with. And then he will either interview them, obtain statement, and send them to the relevant authorities to be processed. In relation to the Helen Suzman Foundation, I don't know what the question is intended to, because you haven't asked the question. Yes.
It was the Helen Suzman Foundation that litigated for the reinstatement of Robert McBride at IPID. Were you aware of this?
It's possible.
Yeah. And then we also know that it was the Helen Suzman Foundation who led the court challenge on the appointment of General Burning, who's the former Hawks head, that eventually resulted in his removal. And this was soon after he dismissed you from the Hawks. So at any stage, did you have a conversation with any representatives or people associated with the Helen Suzman Foundation about the struggles you were going through at SAPS?
I think, I don't know whether it was Freedom Under Law it's Freedom Under Law that I went to see. Helen Suzman Foundation, I don't remember a meeting with them, but in their case, they were just worried that the man has been found guilty or there is serious allegations against him and yet he's waking. They said, no, he must actually be suspended because he's been found guilty or the court has declared that he's a dishonorable person who lacks honor and integrity. He must go stay at home. So it is based on those.
Okay, so there was no link to the fact that he had just dismissed you. So there was no link to the fact that he had just dismissed you, that the Helen Suzman Foundation.
No, there was a link because, remember, everybody knew that he was actually doing it unfairly so, and he didn't follow the procedure. He was fighting for Richard Mluli, and that is why he was fired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
so much, Honorable Matthys. Honorable members, when we come back, we are taking Honorable Nwango, Honorable Sols, Honorable Vessels, Honorable James, and the last speaker will be Honorable Sangon. And then we'll take a comfort break. So now we are breaking for 15 minutes. We are coming back at 17:30. Yeah.